what are the options to sellers that are facing foreclosure? What are banks typically offering them?
It kind of goes in a tier. So you start out with, if you could reinstate the loan, obviously that's going to be your first and foremost option, to pay back the back balance and get your loan reinstated and start making mortgage payments again. Most people who are behind, they're looking at exploring a loan modification, which is to modify the current loan. That process, it should take 30 to 60 days. It's realistically about 6-month process. After that, you have a forbearance, which is taking the arrearages, all that back balance, and moving it to the back of the loan. Mm-hmm. So those are the main ways to keep the property. After that, then what you're looking at is a deed in lieu of foreclosure, which is actually a give back. You're giving the house back to the bank, and they will usually offer you some type of a cash incentive program, cash for keys or whatever it may be. And that ranges anywhere from $1,000 to could be 10, 12, sometimes $15,000 in cash. And you have to qualify for that as well. Other than that, really what we're looking at is bankruptcy and a short sale. And that's where we come in. It's one of the last things of, I've been trying to keep my property. I've now, I've been in it for, struggling with mortgage payments for a year, 2 years, been in and out of court, that sort of thing. That's when people pick up the phone and call us. They now have a foreclosure sale date. The judge has told them you've got 60 days to move out, or 90 days, whatever it may be. And sometimes the banks will actually tell them, hey, you need to do a short sale. You're underwater on your mortgage. You need to do a short sale and work this out, which is, it's in the bank's best interest too, because once the house goes to foreclosure, as we all know, investors are willing to pay 50 to 60 cents on the dollar. They're not going to pay top dollar at the auction block to purchase a property that, let's say, maybe needs a new roof or is in distress. And obviously they're selling for cash only. So a lot of times it's in the bank's best interest to work out a short sale, because they know they're going to net an extra 15, 20, sometimes even 30% more for the property.
The bank will, you mean?
The bank will net more money because we can put it on the open market. And also there's a lot of cash incentive programs around as well. They'll wipe out all of the debt. Most of the lenders are very good to work with. Most of them have pretty streamlined short sale programs. You'd be surprised.
Interesting. Now, when you talk about the option, so if you're in that place and you're saying, okay, I could either short sale, I can do bankruptcy, or actually I can do nothing. I mean, this has been such a
right.
But let me just let the bank take the house back and call it. What are the consequences of just doing nothing?
Well, first and foremost, it stays on your credit report for 10 years. That's the biggest one. Got a bankruptcy showing up in your credit report for 10 years. Also, in our state, if you have a second mortgage, especially homeowners association, they can come back after you for the unpaid balance. Sometimes even on a first mortgage as well, which is called the deficiency balance. So let's say if you walk away from it and the house sells at auction and you owe $300,000 on your property and the house sells for $250,000 at auction, there's a $50,000 balance left over. Now, most of the time the banks are going to walk away from that, especially if it's a first mortgage, but it's not guaranteed. They can seek a deficiency balance. If there's second mortgages, we deal with a lot of clients have pulled out a second mortgage or home equity line of credit. Homeowners associations are the biggest one that we see. Homeowners associations will absolutely come back after you for the unpaid balance. That's how they make their money. So the worst thing is you let the house go to foreclosure, you think you're walking away free and clear, and then now not only do you have a foreclosure on your credit report, but you have debt that's following you for 5 to 7 years.
Wow. So if they do nothing and they get a deficiency judgment against them,
they could.
The creditor can still come after them for money after the foreclosure?
Absolutely. Yes. It's pretty uncommon with first mortgages if your lender is, JP Morgan Chase or Wells Fargo, Bank of America. But once it gets down to the subsidiaries and, if you're watching this video, your loan is probably with PHH Mortgage Services or New Res, Select Portfolio Servicing, Specialized Loan Servicing, Rushmore Loan Servicing. These are all subsidiaries, and these companies they're really debt collectors. As a matter of fact, when you call them on the phone, it will say we are a debt collector. Your call's being recorded for quality assurance and training purposes. That is what their job is. So is it guaranteed they're going to waive deficiencies if you just walk away? I would triple check on that.
Interesting. So, I mean, the idea is just to get rid of the nightmare, because you're being
Absolutely
harassed by the creditor asking for their money. You can't make your payments. The path of least resistance, in essence, could be a short sale.
Yes. And as a matter of fact, too, I pulled up this is a bank approval that we recently gotten. I don't know if we can zoom in on this at some point, but I've redacted all my clients' pertinent information here. But I'm just going to read off this. What we get in writing is on every single bank approval. It has to be. Otherwise, there really is no point in doing a short sale. And that is absolutely my professional opinion. But you need to be able to walk away from it free and clear. Otherwise, why would you do a short sale if you still have to pay back a back balance of $50 or $75 or $100,000? Okay. So I'm just going to read to you a little bit about what this is. And this is from American Servicing Company, which is Wells Fargo.
Okay.
And it states in here, when American Servicing Company receives acceptable sales proceeds and all required documentation is specified in the notice of short sale approval, we will arrange to have the mortgage of record released. Your compliance in this notice of short sale approval, coupled with the release of the mortgage, shall waive us and the investor's rights to seek a payment of the remaining deficiency balance of the original mortgage note. So we hear this all the time, and it's right here. Okay. We go through this with every single one of our clients at the end, and we hear all the time, our clients will call us up and say, I spoke with a friend, or sometimes honestly, even an attorney or bankruptcy attorney, and they'll say, well, don't do a short sale. You have to pay back the back balance. No, you don't. You absolutely do not have to do it. And I'm going to tell you why. Everything that we do is contingent upon the bank accepting the terms and conditions of the short sale, and at the end, you accepting their terms and conditions. What I mean by that is every one of our short sales that goes through our company is contingent upon getting this in writing.
Excellent.
Well, we have never had a client of ours, and we've been established since 2010. We've never had a client of ours walk away where they had to pay any money back or sign a promissory note. Everybody walks away free and clear. First mortgage, homeowners association, second mortgages, home equity lines of credit, everything that is a lien on title on the property.
Dave, is that part of your service? I mean, ideally, that's a big importance. I mean, you can get a short sale approved, but if it doesn't have that verbiage, then that's problematic, right? So is that
absolutely? Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's written into our listing agreements. So it's part of our contracts. Everything is part of our contracts. That it states in there that the bank has to waive all deficiencies and allow our client to walk away free and clear. If not, our client can cancel the short sale at any time and walk away from it. There's no penalties, no fees. And again, all of our services are free of charge.
Well, I know it's
the bank pays our fees.
Well, I don't know of really any real estate agent that puts that in their listing. That's part of your listing agreement. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
So it just reassurance that if this is not worded to help protect the homeowner, that that deficiency will be waived, then the listing is pretty much contingent on that agreement. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Absolutely. It also states in there, there's verbiage that we put together in our contracts over the years, working with our attorneys, to be honest with you. And one of the other contingencies in our listing agreement, it states that real estate commissions, which is how I get paid. And it states in their commission, it'll say, in the case of a short sale, it's understood the seller is experiencing financial hardship and that they will not be responsible for any commissions or fees to the listing brokerage. Their mortgage company will pay all of the commissions and fees. So we've added in stuff like that to protect our clients. There's no money that comes out of pocket. There's no closing costs, no commissions. We wipe out all of the debt, and everything is contingent upon the bank accepting the terms and conditions. And our clients always have to sign off on that before we actually open up escrow and move to closing.
Well, that's a great service, because again, it's a specialty niche that obviously only a few people have experience. Now, about how many short sales have you handled? What's your production?
Over the course of my career,
career.
400 maybe.
400 short sales?
Yeah.
Wow.
In multiple states too. So the one thing that's interesting about short sales is they're on a national level. So as long as you understand how the banks work and what they need and the direction that they're going to move, it's pretty streamlined for the most part.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's almost like if you needed brain surgery, you would want to make sure that the surgeon is a brain surgeon, not some.
I would hope so.
Yeah. So I mean, short sales
I would hope so.
Niche, because obviously the listing agent. How important is the listing agent in the short sale process? I mean, how important is their role in that short sale is going to come to fruition?
Extremely important, because if you don't live and breathe this every single day, you don't know what to expect. You don't know the guidelines that the banks take. You don't know what certain things mean and how to kind of guide your client through everything. So, as I've said before, this is all I do. This is what I specialize in, helping people avoid foreclosure by working out a short sale with their bank, wiping out the debt and getting them to wipe the slate clean and start fresh. That's really what it's about. And there's clients that we work with right now that their son or their daughter or their mother is a real estate, and they hire us. We spearhead the whole thing, and we will work with them on a referral basis. But the main thing is that they know that they need to work with us. This is what we do every single day. So I talk with brokers all the time on the phones that will refer us clients and say, hey, this is what you guys do. I want you to handle this. You and your team are set up for this. We're not set up for this. We don't know the ins and outs of short sales.
Well, you bring up a really good point. So let's just say that you have your real estate license and you're going to lose your own property. Wouldn't it be easier if you had your own property to short sell your own listing yourself? Is that possible?
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, everything's possible. It's really the choice of the real estate agent. The reality is that, it's very easy to get bogged down by one short sale that could take 3, 6, 9, sometimes 12, 15 months. I've got a short sale right now that it took us 18 months from beginning to end to close. Mm-hmm. That's not very often, but it does happen. If you're not used to it and set up with the system, that one listing can bog you down and keep you out of the field from, let's say, helping out your normal buyers and sellers sell and buy their properties.
Have you found that banks are comfortable in paying the mortgagor that's not making their mortgage payment a real estate commission?
That they will.
Well, I mean, if you were the mortgagor and you're not making payments, and then you go to the bank and say, I want to short sell my own home.
Yes.
That's not guaranteed that the bank's going to pay you a commission, though, correct?
I've never had them not pay a commission. I don't know. We work with title and escrow companies that are backed by attorneys, and obviously the HUD-1 settlement statement has to be approved. Mm-hmm. So I've never had an issue with commissions. Now, we ask for 6%. If the bank cuts down our commissions and pays 5% overall, there's nothing we can do about that. I can't hold up the sale of a property for commissions. But it's pretty simple. Most of the banks over the past couple of years have paid 6% on everything.
Excellent. So even
they make it pretty easy.
Even if you hold your own real estate license, it's a good business decision not to handle your own brain surgery, so to speak, to let a specialist take care of it.
Absolutely. And I say this all the time as well. For our clients that we do help out with short sales, and a lot of them are ready to go buy again in 18 to 24 months. And they will, we keep in touch, and they'll ask me, hey, can you help me purchase a house? And the answer is always absolutely. I will set you up with one of my associates who specializes in working with buyers and make sure that you're going to get the best of the best service. And I explained to them, you contacted me to handle the short sale part of your life and get rid of that debt and wipe everything out and get you a fresh start. Mm-hmm. This is what I do for a living. I do not specialize in working with home buyers and helping them achieve their goals and their dreams, because that's two completely different parts of the field. So I want to make sure that they are with a specialist as well. So again, just like with the short sales, when agents or other brokers will refer short sales over to me, and we kind of work together on it, and they let me spearhead that part of it. I do the same when it's time for my client to go purchase a property. because I don't specialize in working with buyers or traditional sellers.
I think that's an excellent point, just how specialized this field is for a real estate agent to handle that. And your experience in handling hundreds of short sales, obviously, when you interview a client on their situation, you probably can quickly identify how that short sale is going to resolve. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Just based on who the lender is in many cases?
Well, it's a lot of times, yes. So there are certain lenders that they're just kind of known to drag their feet. They take a little bit longer. Their process is a little bit longer. And the reality is maybe they just don't have the support. But it's always kind of funny because when I talk with the new client on the phone and just by the way that they tell me what they've gone through with their lenders, a lot of times I'll throw out 2 or 3 names and one of them is usually the lender. Mm-hmm. So, as I said, at this stage in the game too, by the time you have defaulted on your mortgage and you're more than 6 months behind, and now your mortgage lender has contacted an attorney, hired a law firm to go ahead and file a motion to foreclose on the property and get in front of a judge, it's usually not with a Bank of America or a Wells Fargo or Chase or any of the U.S. Bank, Nation Star, any of the large banks anymore. It usually kind of goes through like a waterfall program. It goes to a subsidiary. So I've worked with the same lenders. I mean, there's always some new ones that pop up over the years, but since the crash of 2008, for the most part, it's the same lenders. It's just Aquin is now PHH. PHH is now operating kind of under New Res. You got Select Portfolio Service, Rushmore. They came up about maybe 6-7 years ago. Fay Loan Servicing. There's only so many different lenders that we work with on a regular basis. It's not very often where I talk with someone on the phone and I don't know who the lender is. And usually by the time we track it down, the servicer is still one of the main, like the top 10. Senlar, one of these companies that we work with regularly. So what's nice about that is when you work with the same lenders over and over and over, now when we pick up the phone to call them, we can say, hey, for instance, like, is Dave Gimpietri available? Because I worked with Dave on these other short sales before, right. And then start building a relationship, right? Hey, here's the situation. We got another client who's facing foreclosure. We really want to help out our client and their family. They've got a foreclosure sale date coming up. Let's get this thing postponed. Give us a couple months so we can work through the short sale process. And they're going to need some money to help relocate, So as you start building those relationships, it just makes it a lot easier to be able to facilitate through these.
Wow, outstanding, Dave. I really appreciate your time today. And again, your contact information will be located below on this YouTube. So certainly reach out to Dave. And okay for anybody to reach out to you directly with questions that they have?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, very good. And of course, the conversation you have with clients, that's all confidential and that stays between you and them.
Absolutely. And that's actually a good question too, because unfortunately we deal with divorce situations. So, in that situation, we've got the client relationship with the husband and the client relationship with the wife as well. And we have to keep their pertinent information separate from each other also. So that's a good question.
Yeah, I notice that's really challenging in the divorce because you have to be fair to all parties, and confidentiality is absolutely critical in that situation. So
yes,
you have a lot of experience with that. Speaks volumes. So Dave, with that, let's sign out. And I appreciate that. Again, if you've enjoyed this, please hit that like button. Dave's information is below. And we're going to have a series of more information from Dave because he's such an expert. And I think our market is going to be changing. I feel that momentum happening with all the economy the way it is. And this is certainly you're a good resource, Dave. So I appreciate your time. And with that, let's sign out.
Thank you, Troy.
All right. Thank you, Dave.
All right. Take care.